What's the number one shift the spirits say we must prepare for by fall 2025?
So what I do when all the SHIT is going down, I stop and I'm like, whoa. I'm aware of the energy and I'm like, whoa, this is like some strange energy and it's like wonky, woo. It feels like all of a sudden this roller coaster. And I just feel like it gets steeper and turns are sharper in the next coming months. I think there's going to be some conflicts around the world. I think there's going to be some change in the U.S., in this country. Politically, there's going to be some really interesting, crazy stuff going down. I just think there's going to be a lot of ups and downs this fall. I don't think it's going to get much better, probably until the beginning of the year. I just feel we're being prepared.
Are you ready to shine? Shine bright. Woo-hoo. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Michael Sandler, your host on Inspire Nation. If you've ever felt the ground shifting beneath your feet like the world you knew was ending, talk about summer 2025, but sense something new being reborn in its place, then do we have the James Van Praagh Fall 2025 prediction show for you. Today, I'm talking with James Van Praagh, TV star, legendary medium, author of over 12 #1 New York Times bestseller, and we're going deep on what the spirits are revealing for fall 2025, why the old earth is crumbling, how to navigate the chaos, and most importantly, how to thrive in the new era that's coming. So, James, welcome back to the show. Are you ready to shine?
I think so. Hi, Michael. Nice to see you and everybody.
Good to see you too. And we were talking about why we also might want to duck and cover at this time. So,
yeah. Interesting energy we're living in.
Oh my dear God. Yeah. So before we dive into all of that energy, what's the number one shift the spirits say we must prepare for by fall 2025?
Well, let me see. Easy question. I think it's a conglomeration. So I think it's a conglomeration of many different types of things, not just one thing. I think there's a change in everything. I think everything is being transformed, as has been predicted, by the way, the past several years by many mediums and psychics and astrologers, that this is the time we wake up or not. And I think there's going to be extremes of it. And I think it really is getting back to our own power, not giving our power away for each one of us, and really going down deep with our own values, our ethics, our integrity. I think we're going to be tested on that. And I think there's a shift, there's this big shift. And I do think, Michael, that there's the consciousness, the sense of what consciousness is, that world of consciousness, the subject of consciousness is really starting to play into the mainstream of people. You can figure the pun there. But I really believe that more and more people are going to be open now to consciousness, to what's beyond this physical. And I think it's really, from my days when I first started in the early 90s to now, it's changed so much. But I know that as I'm in the world of whatever you want to call it, movies, television, books, I'm very aware that younger generations, people coming up right now, it's going to change the whole sense of everything. Also, I think because social media, devices, and so forth, it's going to force people to start connecting on a higher level of whether it's humanity or that consciousness level. Because I think people are going to get really tired of AI and devices and so forth. And, it has its value, obviously, because we're here and it's a great teaching value for people and it's great. But when they become interdependent on it, but I think it's going to be a shift. I think people are going to say, wait a minute, I can only take so much of this. Let me just get back to the basic values and in a new way look at things with different perspective, different lens, if you will.
I want to dive into all of that. I want to dive into consciousness. I want to dive into AI. I want to dive into getting back to basics. Before I go into all of that, you and I have been off air discussing bumps and licks and ticks. I think more me than you. Of
Yeah, definitely more you than me.
we're coming out of this summer. What have we all been going through? Is it here to serve us? And is it preparing us for something more?
I think there are no accidents. I think there's always divine timing. I think there's a reason behind everything. I think we got to be very careful as humans that we don't put the human stamp on it, because I think things, as people have just seen this past year and year before, and coming up, and it's not just because of Trump and political things. That's stirring things up, of course, but it's got to be, it's stirring up in other ways as well. And I think it's really getting people back to what's important. It's teaching people what's going on. I think it's been a centrifuge. That's how I describe it, like a spinning. And I think energetically, I do, and I don't know this, but on a sensitive level, I think the Earth is spinning up even faster, or definitely it feels like everything's spinning up much quicker. And I think we got to stop and ground ourselves and stay centered and not get caught up in that mishigas, not get caught up all that stuff, because that's not going to serve us. What will serve us is being grounded and knowing ourselves, being true to ourselves, have that sense of who we are. And through across the board, I teach at my school online, and I work with a lot of people, and it always comes back to self-love. Even more so now that I've noticed in several years. Now, this past year, every message was self-love, self-love, whether it's students or people who lost somebody, it's all about learning about self-love. And so I think that's all part of it.
It's interesting. So I mentioned off air, I got hit by a moving truck earlier this year, or actually this summer, and it's required, because I get a lot of headaches, that I either spend time laying on the earth, or I've got Lake Champlain behind me. I go in the drink again and again and again, and I ground into. And even though that's water, you're grounding in. You're getting all of this energy off of you. It feels to me so important. So it's actually, in a sense, the headaches are here to serve me, and they're here to serve all of us, reminding us to ground.
That's right, exactly right. And exactly, water is a wonderful negative ion. So it really is a sense of fabric of our soul. So you always feel better when you're in water because the negative ions and endorphins are flowing and so forth when you're in water. So I do water every day, whether it's a jacuzzi or a shower or whatever. And in that shower space, that water space, I will visualize, positive, loving energy coming back. Remember, I'm going to say, opening up to that remembrance of the stream of love that I am part of, right? And so once we just allow ourselves to do that, we're in that space. It's just getting out of the way and letting it flow. Yeah. And I think you're right. I think those things that have happened to you and to other people are reminders that you got to stop, center yourself. And I think it's so funny because it's like a chessboard sometimes. Which way do I go? Position do I get in? And you have other people's stuff that gets in our way. We were talking about that as well. Other people are acting out. Other people, they don't know how to handle this energy. They're spinning out. So it's like they got to ground themselves. Sometimes we're in a situation. I found myself in a situation where I got to say, stop. And I say to a person, that's not correct, or that's not accurate, or we set boundaries up and say, that's not allowed. That is not ethically allowed, or there's no integrity with that. And I've been do that a lot with people that I've known. It's like, because they're spinning out. So a lot of people got to not spin out, ground themselves, get back to basics for sure.
So I'm visiting my parents right now, at least once a week. Dad had a stroke. He's doing great a few weeks ago. Both of my parents, ever since growing up, my friends would call it the crazy house.
So
my
that explains it. Okay.
Yes. And
You
so
love to share, don't you?
I am known, when I go to my house now, of buffering energies and really grounding deep. I become the grounding force. How do we all become more of a grounding force as the world is spinning around us, or at least buffer our energy as things are heating up even more?
Well, so number one, I got to say, because you throw all these things at me at once. Number one, you're a healer, obviously, big healer in many ways. So just your presence when you go somewhere, like you say, you go to visit your folks, where, some healers, and you are one of them, this, when they go into a space, they enlighten that space. Whether they're conscious of it or not, they enlighten that space. They bring a sense of balance, if you will. And you're so crazy, which is even great because that's more of the known of the balance. It's ironic because it's like you're so balanced and healing, but you're like me, you're just crazy. But it's that vibration that we're on, right? That vibration. Again, I have to repeat myself that I think when each person takes the time to realize they are worth it, that and they get in tune with that loving part of themselves that they might have forgotten since childhood, or that I'm not really entertained or been aware of because who knows, with the childhood, traumas, or things have happened, it's time to stop and start having that relationship with their soul self, their loving self. And through that, and being part of the earth, remember, we're souls having a human experience. And when things speed up, it's almost like getting back to that frequency of the soul, that light world. But we have to be in this human body right now. So we got to be a part of that earth. So, like you said, lying down on the ground is good grounding yourself. Ice cubes, I falling down with leaves in the ground, which I didn't when I was back on the East Coast in the fall. All different types of ways one can ground themselves. Water is a great one as well. If you get down there, the beach is great. Yeah, we need to do that. And grounding foods would be good too. A diet of grounding foods. I like to pet my doggy. Another way of grounding. I find animal energy is perfect for healing and great. Oh, there you
This
go. There
isn't
you
just Sir Meowsers here. This is Sir
surround.
Meowsers on a grounding, see a cord here, a grounding pet bed. Double grounding, James.
There you go,
How
everybody.
does it get any better than this? So I get the benefit of being grounded by petting Sir Meowsers because he's connected to the earth.
This is great. That's great. Exactly what we're talking about. It's very funny when you and I speak, everybody. So you'll know we he says something, I say, and we validate each other every moment. It's pretty wild. It really is.
So what's the biggest I want to say it's the news, but who knows what is? What's the biggest illusion we need to drop right now to get back into ourselves, to get back into that grounded state?
That we're not separate from one another, that we're connected to one another, that, and even, there's an illusion of, and I got to say it because it's prevalent, which is social media with young kids on these social platforms. And it's like they look for validation of who they are from others in the social platforms. It's not true. That's the illusion. So we got to break those illusions and get back to who we truly are. We got to learn to know ourselves. So we just got to understand who we have the relationship with self. And something which I really think helps a lot of people. And I'll often say it that, in your life, you have to have people that support you, that bring you up, not tear you down. Because we are here on this earth to be brought up and to be higher. And whether that's family or friends or business people, work people, they need to be high, I mean, bring you up, not put you down. So no more of that, everybody. Don't be put down, but brought up.
So that also means, particularly, and then I want to go into a little bit more what's coming energetically as things are heating up. We need to be even more particular about who we surround ourselves with. And if I had a scissors by my side, we need to do some serious cord cutting, even if it's not easy.
100%, 100%, and 100%. And an exercise that I've taught in my school, which really helps a lot for people, is every night before I go to sleep, as I'm going to sleep, I become aware of every single person, whether it's on a Zoom call with my students or people who are doing a demonstration. I become aware of the faces because I become aware of how I interacted with people from the beginning of the day to the end of the day, whether it's a phone call, whether it's a Zoom call, whether it's in person at the market, and I just become aware of the intention of and the awareness that when I spoke with them, I gave them some of my energy and they gave them some of my energy because we're all energetic beings. And what I do is I send back their energy to them. And then after I'm done with each person, I open up to getting my energy back from each one. And it really works. It's like stardust coming to your crown chakra, and you'll feel this enlightenment and you feel this abundance. And I think that's a great thing to get into to bring your own energy back. Another thing one can do is you do it during the day or before you go to bed, is stop, quiet, close your eyes, be quiet, and become aware of the map around you, the spaces around you, the fields around you, and become aware of if there's anyone's energy in that field that is not your energy. That feels like someone foreign to you, and you can just say, who are you? What are you doing here? Ground that energy down to Mother Earth, put light, bring it down to Mother Earth, let it go, let Mother Earth take care of that, or send it back to the person. If you know who that is, send it back to them and expand your own fields. And that's another way of doing it. Getting into a habit of doing that every night helps as well. I think you're right. We've got to be very, very careful who we let into our spaces. Really do, because at this time, you don't want people to drain your energy as well. And because we're light workers, we emanate this light, if you want to call it this light, this energy, this healing sense. And there are going to be those souls who want more of that light, who want more of the healing, want more balance, and they'll gravitate to us. right? And we got to be very, very mindful that we can't give our power away. It's not going to serve us or them or anyone else well. So we've got to be very consistent and vigilant, really, about honoring our space and who's in it and setting up boundaries.
Thank you. I call this energy hygiene. And there are also things that I teach that you do at the end of the day. Even if you've just been driving down the highway, it's like people are putting out little fishing rod barbs. A little bit of your energy goes here and there. You can feel it if you're in the city highway. You can feel all that energy drain. Um,
Yeah, so can I just interrupt 1 second, Michael? You're saying something very important there that, thoughts are things. So we're all energy. Everyone is energy. What does that mean? Well, molecules that vibrate and move at a certain rate of speed. And all around us are thoughts and information. So all around us is all this thought information, and we're walking into a sea of thought. So I wrote in one of my books, The Velcro Suit. And it's like when we walk around, developing thought stays on to us. And we just got to take the time to let that go because if we hold into other people's energy in our space, think about that. When you're making a choice in life, certain choices, you'll base it on the energy that's in your space. So you're not seeing it with clear lens, you're seeing it through someone else's energy, not your own.
is there a way to go from Velcro to Teflon or each morning to start to not point the barbs inwards, but scruff them off or put a bubble of Teflon on us so that when we go out there, we're not picking up all this stuff?
100%. Again, I do this every morning in the shower. What I do is, and I tell all my students to do this every morning in the shower. I have to clean the physical body. Now to get the mental and emotional body and the light body together. I set my intention. I imagine a golden light coming from the divine heavens, whatever we call that, into the crown chakra, into my fields, my energetic fields, and also the physical vibration. And I bring that divine light to cleanse and encircle and take away any circle every muscle, every fiber, every bone in my being, and take away any foreign energy in the space, whether it's my fields, whether it's in the physical, mental body, emotional body, and spiritual body. And I just imagine that a denser energy, a darker energy, if you will, like Hershey's syrup coming out of my fingers and my toes, going right down to the drain. And I set in a prayer, I set an intention. I say, may God go before me and show me the way. So I'm setting up my intention, my thought, and then I visualize, if you will. I use a disco ball. So I put myself in this big old mirror disco ball. Bless you. Disco ball. Oh my goodness, it was something I said. It's like a Teflon, but it's more of a reflection. It deflects any energies coming toward me. It sends them away. And I worked in Hollywood for a long time, and this is the one thing that really saved me from that energy was using that technique every morning. That'll help.
I love it, both the disco ball and I think there's another sneeze coming. I muted them before, but you said, bless you.
Bless you. It's a human
The
thing.
cat's out of the bag.
And I'm allergic to
But
them.
oh, geez. You're the only person I've heard to visualize the syrup. Uh, of course. All right.
It's almost part of I don't know, our life here, especially when we're spiritual beings and healers, that we really need to be very vigilant again about taking care of ourselves in a energetic way because that we have a lot going on right now, and the energy is so fast. And also, I feel energy psychically, intuitively, that the energy goes so fast. It's almost as if dirt is flying up from the ground. It's sort of like galloping horses go by, and this dirt is so all these particles are flying up there. It's like, what is going on? These particles are in the way. So you can't see things clearly because these dirt particles, these denser particles are coming in and coming up. And we got to be careful what we're sensing and seeing and being able to discern between our energy, foreign energy, dust energy. We got to be very much aware of that as we do this work and we live here.
Can you tell me more about discernment? And when we're looking at about this year, it seems like, and I can speak for ourselves, so many of us are feeling pulled to move, to go someplace else, to start anew, to ground somewhere. What's that energy about? And where does discernment fit in with that, or wanting to leave a job or leave a relationship, or all these things we're feeling pulled to at these times?
Right. So we could say many, many things, but I'm going to simplify it. And the simplification is that again, I'm going to repeat myself, but we have to get to know who we are, what our soul self is. What's our soul self telling us? Because there can be many things that appear to the human that are possibilities, but that might not be right for us. You know, all these options we might have, but they might not be right for us. For instance, I've been wanting to move for a bit, and I feel like I have to, I will, but it's not the right time. And I know that the spirit world for all of us shows us when it's right, and we've got it's also I think again, I think it's that picking up the antis- anticipating, sorry, energy of change, of things moving. And we feel we get caught up in that. We got to, again, ground ourselves, balance ourselves, and become what's important to our soul? What fulfills our soul self? Will it be a job change? Will it be a relationship? It will come to us, but we can't freak out. We can't get caught up in that mishigas. Again, slow, steady, and moderate. Slow, steady, and moderate. So when things are speeding up, just stop, slow down, look both ways, and then cross the street.
Thank you. What do you feel is the prevailing energy that's going to be here this fall? And maybe that's why we're all we're being taught through you, through me, to hear today how to ground with what's coming.
Right. I think there's going to be a lot of I think there's going to be some conflicts around the world. Conflicts. I think that I think there's going to be some change in the U.S. in this country. I think politically there's going to be some really interesting, crazy stuff going down. If it hasn't already, it will. And I think that I just think there's going to be a lot of ups and downs this fall. I don't think it's going to get much better, probably until the beginning of the year. But I just feel we're being prepared, like I say, to go in the ups and downs and all arounds. And it's funny because when I first started connecting with you today, get much better, probably until the beginning of the year. But I just feel we're being prepared, like I say, to go in the ups and downs and all arounds. It's like it gets steeper and the turns are sharper in the next coming months. I just got to tell you that. It just feels that way to the end of the year. And that's what's revealed to me, you know. So there are certain things that are hidden for certain, you know, people, and certain things are, or they call it veiled. But that's what I just know it's a sense of self-awareness that we have to really go there because when things are going off, we want to be sure to know who we are.
Thank you. You've talked about
And I
old.
won't go to fear mode. I won't, I refuse to go into fear because it's not
Thank you.
about fear. It really isn't. It's about love. It really is. Fear is a very human thing. And everyone has to remember that fear is of the human world, not the spirit world. And we are souls, we are spirits having a human experience. We are love. There's no fear in the spirit levels. No fear at all in those realms. It's only in the human world. So remember, you're a soul having a human condition. That's it.
Thank you. That actually is a perfect bridge to where I was going. So I'm glad you added
I
that.
know that. I'm psychic. I knew that.
Well, you of course. I mean, okay, you've talked about old Earth, you've talked about new Earth, you've talked about us in a sense. I'm going to use the term bridge today, but the bridge could be a roller coaster of a bridge. It's still a bridge, and that process of self love can be embodying the ride rather than trying to fight the ride at this time.
Exactly. So what I do when all the SHIT is going down, I stop and I'm like, whoa, and I'm aware of the energy and I'm like, whoa, this is like some strange energy and it's like wonky, woo. But I won't get caught up in fear and panic because that's not what it's about. It's transformation, it's change. Change, you know, people can't take change. People, and it's going to affect especially those who are control freaks. Because when you're controlling, you want to control everything. And if everything's falling down around you, it's like, how can I control that? The truth is, you don't have control. There is no control. The only thing you can control people, you can't control situations. All you can control is how you respond to things. That's what you can control. So when things are falling down left and right, just stop, stop, back, breathe, ground, get to the corner, look both ways before you cross the street. And remember who you are. Remember who you are. And I like to go back to that young, this my works for me, the young child of 3 or 4 years old, maybe I'm writing my autobiography right now, and I'm back there. But I remember the joy that I had as a child, and you too, and you still have the joy. We both still have that
I'm
childlike
watching my
joy.
3-year-old going out right now to go play in the water. I'm like,
You know, and that's who we are. We got to remember that joy that we all come with. Joy is who we are.
so okay. So
And one more thing before I go on.
yes,
I just heard in my mind that there'll be a many of space exploration this year, end of the year. There'll be more connection with what's going on in space, exploring space or owning space or whatever that might be. But there's some stuff with space about some energy will be there this year.
I just interviewed Dr. Stephen Greer, the founder of the Disclosure Project. His next interview comes out in a couple weeks on objects that have been found that prove beyond doubt that we are not alone in the cosmos, and maybe that's part of what's coming too.
Yeah, there's an opening there for sure. 100%. There's an opening going on there.
So I have my daughter going outside. You talked, I'm looking at my next question here. And of course, you went to kids before I got to read it because you're psychic.
I'm psychic.
How do we explain this energy? How do we explain this shift? How do we explain this new world to kids without fear? Or are they already getting it?
Oh, I think they already have it. I think it's us adults that have the hard time with it. I think kids like to play. I think you have to have amusement and play. And watch children play. That's what we want to do. And watch how they handle energy. Watch how they playing outside right now. Watch how kids behave because they know nothing but joy and love. They really don't. And that's really the innocence of that. That's how they handle things. They're like, and there's a wonderful art of discovery with them, like something strange or different. They go, huh? Huh? And they look like they're trying to understand it, and they don't judge it, but they're in that space trying to understand it, trying to discover what is this about? So I think that art of discovery that we children have, we adults need to take from that, remember that, and that's how we get through this change, this shift, if you will. Learn from the children.
Well, that is looking at the world, and I know you do it, and I know I do it, and we're over the top of this show. Forgive us, everybody, but we're having fun. We're in our space here,
please.
but we have childlike, not childish, childlike eyes. We are looking at the world and saying, you used the term roller coaster. You could have used the term, forgive me, highway to hell. That's not what you chose.
Well, when we first started, I used carousel with you. So, I mean, it's got faster and faster and faster. It's all how we can see things, how we want to see things. Again, I'm going to repeat this, is that I keep things joyful. I'm amusement. My amusement is up. You and I laugh a lot, but I laugh a lot when I don't have people here. I'm laughing with myself a lot. When I go to the gym, I laugh. Yesterday, I walked in unexpected. My trainer was there working with someone else, and he looks at me and he said, "They actually let you out by yourself?" I said, "Only on Mondays," because we have joy when we work out. Everything to me is like fun. I try that, and people that take themselves too seriously, I'm like, really? It's not. It's not. Life is very short. Life is really short, and you want to live a the fullness of every moment, and that's really what it's about. And the best way for me is amusement, and don't take things so seriously because we're all going to get out of this eventually. We're all going to go on to the elevator to the other side, and why not have the other side now here, which we can do. That joy and that love, we can experience that now. And yes, we got to be, you got to live as humans, and with certain things, we've got to be very mindful of being, I guess you call it serious, but being aware of things in this world. We have to, but don't forget the childlike self, who you are, because that child is still within you.
Yesterday, I went out for a bike ride on this trail where I was doing mountain bike races earlier this year. I got second place a couple weeks in a row. Woo-hoo, during these mountain bike races earlier this year. Then I got concussed with a truck. And so yesterday I'm out, and at about the 30-minute mark, and I'm going at a crawl's pace. I am done. And it's time to go back, and I can't do anymore. And I'm not what I was 2 months ago, and I'm so slow. And I yucked it up. I laughed. I enjoyed the experience and laugh. I'm not where I was. I will be back. And even if I'm not, which I will, but even if I weren't, I can enjoy the experience, the ups and downs, even if the tears are falling.
That's right. Exactly right. And that's a matter of, which is fantastic, living in the moment. You're living the moment, good, better, and different. You're living the moment, enjoying the fullest of that moment. The past, again, and my trainer told me something, young kid, very interesting. He said, the past is history, the future is a mystery. So all we have is this moment now, and that's the present. And that's a good one. And it's true, living in the moment. And it's going to be all different ways, and we can react in different ways. And sometimes we can be sad and we can be happy. It's okay to be both. So that's okay.
Thank you. Do you see, I know when you were on before, we talked about mass exodus. I don't even know if I want to go there, but do you feel there's going to be a mass awakening trigger or something this fall, like you were talking about the stars in space, that is going to pop people awake?
Yeah, I think it's really starting. I think it's already starting. I don't want to say conflicts or wars, but I'm going to say there's going to be some definitely changes of things going on with that. Again, not the fear, getting that fear space, but there'll be transformation. I also think physical transformation as far as land masses and land changes and temperature changes, and whether it's volcanic or it's going to be just land going earthquakes. There's going to be some disruptions for sure, 100% physically this fall, if you will, into next year. Definitely get that. And I do believe that. I do believe that's going to be more connected here. Um, yeah. I'd like to have some, I think there's going to be some scientific breakthroughs in some way. And what's that going to be, whether it's the medical breakthroughs, which I think will happen. But I think they're going to find a lot of things to do with going back to the foods that we eat. Of course, we all know that chemicals are in certain foods and so forth. But I think more of that's going to come out. I really feel more of that will come out. So.
Thank you. So on that note, talking about upgrading our health, are there specific things we can do to upgrade our frequency, shall I say, this fall?
Sure, sure. I think so. Meditation, number one, I think great. I think do something that you love to do. Be passionate. So I think everything is your passion behind something. So I plant gardens, right? I plant flowers, I plant vegetables. I go to dog parks every morning. I'm passionate about it. I sing. I'm writing a book. I'm writing some TV stuff. I'm very
How do you
passionate.
fit all of this, James? How do you fit? Because
It's the roller coaster ride. I just make time for it. I just make the time. I like to be being a Virgo scheduled, not regimented, but I know in the morning I got to do the dog stuff. I know I got to do some writing in the afternoon. I got to go to my workouts. I got to do that. So that those things are kind of the grounding for throughout the week, and everything else I can put on top. So, I might have meetings in Los Angeles, but I put the time aside to get that set up, and so I'm open, but it's some of the stuff I have certain things that are the same every week, so I'll know whether it's working out or going to the park. So that's how I do it all. And you're not the first person to say to me, "How do you do it all?" I've had so many people in my life, "How do you do it all?" I'm like, "Well, I'm just, juggling the balls in the air."
and I know how much I'm juggling, and we're very similar in these ways. And the book is the one that just keeps being illusory to me at the moment. I get out a lot of writing with my daily newsletter. I write several thousand pages of edited documents a year, but not books. And my higher self has been screaming at me. Actually, it's screaming at me for that. And I was supposed to start singing lessons earlier this year, and I didn't.
What is your voice? What are you, a tenor or are you a baritone? What?
This is an excellent question.
Thank you. I tried.
And here's why.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It's Michael Sandler, a host on Inspire Nation. That's what I was when I started the show 10 years ago. Then I got to, hi, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Michael Sandler, your host on Inspire Nation. And this summer, right around the time I was concussed, I've dropped to a new level. Whether my range has expanded or my voice has changed, you can hear me playing with it now.
Your tone has changed.
Has massively shifted. So I really don't know.
So it sounds lower. So your tone, which is interesting because it seems more grounding, right?
For meditations, guided meditations with people, I have fun now.
And before you used to worry about it, not anymore. You don't need to. Now you find out you don't need to anymore. You just do it. Yeah, that's good. You're stepping, can I say, Michael, you're stepping more into yourself, your true self. Because the higher, for that, what you're just saying to me, and it's funny because we play off each other here, but that higher octave, the higher, is a little bit of nervous energy. And then you got more and more involved and aware of what you're doing, and you got more comfortable with it. So you're able to relax more. And now, of course, you're just fully relaxed. And you got concussed, which is knocked some sense into you. So grounding even further, which is great because you want to be centered and grounded in everything you do. So, great example.
Here's the trick. This is the TBI for or TMI, not TBI. That'd be traumatic brain injury. No pun intended. Oh God.
Let that one go. We're gonna let that one fly out.
Cancel, clear, release. TMI, which is,
I used to say that all the time. Cancel, clear, release all the time. Yeah.
I listen to a lot of rap. I can't find good, clean rap, but I love the pacing, the cadence, the pop, the only way I can describe it is there was a roundness to each syllable or to the top of each letter. There's a roundness, and and that's how I write. I play with that roundness. I play with that cadence. And I'm like, someday I want to make music like that. But I love, and it even works your brain. You start being able to speak faster. You start being able to come up words faster of listening to that. I just haven't found it that has the vibration that I like in the lyrics.
So let me ask you this question because I'm curious. When you write, let's say, because I think this would be good for you, but I don't know. Let's say that you start writing, but I give you a word. Let's say a word is compassion. And from that, you have to start writing. Is that how you would do it? Because
Yeah, I go into kind of an automatic writing space, but I don't need music going or anything like that. And out of that word will compassion will flow, but it will always have not quite an iambic pentameter, but you can tell if it's my writing. So I wrote a book last year. It got edited. My wording got changed. I couldn't release it. Specifically, it lost my, I want to say tonality. What that means is my rhythm. I can hear a rhythm, a frequency in my writing. And I was going back for several months, really stressed out, trying to put my rhythm back into it before I said, I lost it, let it go. And it's real, this frequency. So you'll give me compassion, and I can tell whether it was me that wrote something or not afterwards based on how those words will then carry forward.
well, I'm with you 100%. I'm writing a television treatment for a TV show. It's gonna be a great show. I can't really mention much about it, but I wrote the treatment, and then someone else came in and wrote different parts of it. Like, oh, the rhythm is gone. My rhythm, my voice, my rhythm, my tone is gone here. And when I was just thinking about this morning, when you share something with another writer, another creator, even if it's an editor, your voice has changed. Everything has changed. So we got to ask ourselves, how much of that am I willing to change? What's the bigger picture here? I always say it that way. What's the bigger picture? And throughout my many books I've written, and I had the same editor, I call a ghostwriter, but she's really not. She's an editor, and she was the number one star with me. And she was Louise Hayes. She wrote Louise Hayes' book, and Linda, her name is, and we've written everything together. And she knows.
I got to talk with you about Linda off air and see if she's available.
I think she is. Yeah, Linda's great. So she's really great, and she's got it. And I'm doing my autobiography now, and I just finished chapter one, and I'm very proud of it. And she wrote me back, and she made me suggestions here and there, and like, okay, she's very good because she knows she doesn't want to get rid of my voice. She wants to amplify that, which I think was very, very important that we have people around us who
This
amplify.
I want to go back to the word compassion. I want to see where you're going with that. But before I do that, so we're going to bookmark that for one question. It seems like an overarching theme right now is we're getting back to ourselves. We're getting back to our true nature. We're buffering the energies around us by being ourselves. And what you and I are describing, and when we talk about somebody editing our work, is we need to hold on to our own unique frequency and vibration.
100%, 100%, 100%. We got to be ourselves. Everybody else is taken. We came here with each specific note, a makeup, a soul makeup. It's like a snowflake. Every snowflake is different. Not any one is the same. Same with us. Every soul is different, and we take on these soul assets, these soul aspects, this soul awareness, this soul fabric, to come back on this earth, to use those gifts, those aspects, to help others, to enlighten others, to give love to others, to help them to love themselves, right? To force, to be that example so they can love themselves. So every single person comes through with that unique frequency, as you put it, and it's so interesting because when I walk around my garden, I play music. Every single flower is giving off a tone, and I want melody going on. And if I make a and I work in rhythm with the flowers. There are certain flowers are it's a scale, and then you get really into it. You start seeing colors coming from the different flowers, and the colors will match the frequencies, and that's why I walk my garden.
So I don't know if you caught, there's a documentary, a Legomentary, maybe if that's the term, with Pharrell Williams a few months back. Did you catch that? It's a documentary about him making music and where he started, and that his friends and him could all synesthesia. They could all see music in color.
Oh, it's great. It's great.
And that sounds a little bit like what you're describing.
Synesthesia, it's called, huh? Synesthesia.
Synesthesia. Yep.
Okay, write that down. Well, from the other side of life, when I'm going to ask all of your people that are watching this or hearing this that I do a demonstration once a month now for spirit communication, and it's on my website, vanpraagh.com. And that has been changing a lot. So every month, something different changes. A new aspect comes in that the spirit people come to talk about. And they talk about all these different things for everybody in the group. And it's like so mind-boggling. It's like, wow, there's just stuff is coming in so a different frequency. And they will often talk about music and color and music as one tone. And they talk about how your thoughts and your voice come across a certain way in doing the spiritual communication work. It's so interesting because there are some spirits that will not be able to adjust themselves to the frequency, and I can't hear them. And there are others just the opposite that really come in so well. Last month they had a dog, a German Shepherd came through. Wild. This man and his wife on this porch with he goes, I'd like to speak to my mother. I said, well, let me get to your mother in a second, but there's a dog here. It's a German Shepherd, and this German Shepherd is just so loving, and I felt the energy so strong. And I said, and the German Shepherd wants to be known to you. He was there to help people. He was born to help people, and those that were unseen. I don't know what that meant. And I said, and there's an incision on his chest and his tummy, and you helped him. You saved his life. And the man said, James, stop. I must tell everybody that this is a dog the police department had. And I also told the guy, I said, you're a healer. You're an incredible healer with your hands. And he goes, I'm a medical doctor. And this German Shepherd was from the police department. The German Shepherd was used to find dead bodies. And they were going to let him retire. They were going to put him down. I took him. And when I took this German Shepherd, I knew he was very special. And he had something going on with his inside. So I brought him to the vet. And they opened him up to explore. And they said, oh, it's an appendectomy thing. And the guy said, no, it is not. He just knew it wasn't. He took the dog back to help with the scar, got them all fixed up with that incision. And he treated him with certain herbs and ingredients, natural ingredients. And the dog was fine, lived for 12 more years. And the dog came through to say, I love you. And so these are the things that are coming through now. And anyway, I do them every month. And people should see the miracles that come through with those demonstrations. They're just wild. Wild. That's, that's changing. So that's changing, right? So from doing this for 40 years, the past year, I've noticed when I do spirit communication, that communications are a higher vibration, that the people, my audiences are much more open than they've ever been before, and they're more aware of spirit communication than ever before. So things are changing. I can just tell by my
So that begets the question, are the messages changing because we're ready to hear more?
Because I think I think the message is changing because the recipient has changed their vibration. Their frequency has gone up. So they're able to come through much easier because they're in that higher frequency. But yet the earth people have brought themselves up to a higher frequency, an awareness, an opening, a possibility. Not a cynicism, not a skeptical awareness, but they're open to whatever comes in, and they're open to the possibilities more than ever before. So that makes a big difference.
Thanks. Are they sharing anything that's unique in 2025 that you hadn't heard before now?
Um, well, how can I put it to you? Because it's more of a feeling in a sense. The sense that they keep on talking about when they come in is there are so many worlds within worlds. Your Earth world is one of many, many thousands and thousands and thousands of realms and layers and things. So, but they also talk about the Earth is important. What do you do here? Because it'll affect many other worlds and it'll affect many other lives. And they go back to that same thing I mentioned before, Michael, about you have to live in the moment, make the best of that moment. And they talk about using love in each moment. Try to love people instead of judge people because that's the way it is. You don't know their background, those people's background that you're judging. So use love instead. And they often have said to me over the years, it's very interesting, think of it in a way like a savings account. Like, when I was a kid, we used to drop money every Friday, like $2 or $5. And that, you probably the same thing in school, that bank account and the savings account, same thing. Think of it as a savings account. The love you give is what you're going to get. When we pass over to the side of life, we receive everything we've given in this life, good, bad, or indifferent. We have our life review. And we'll judge ourselves. And that's an important thing to realize that you can have a great life review or you can have one full of resentment and regret. So I'm here to share. Stop now and start having a positive life review when you pass over by using love. Yeah.
Thank you.
Love.
So a question or a concern that a lot of audience members have been having lately, and that several guests have addressed, and I went through a channeled reading last night, this concept of a shift or a split in humanity that's coming up. Have you heard anything about humanity splitting or two divergent paths or anything of that sort?
I haven't heard that. I've only heard that there's going to be an awakening. There's going to be a more of an awareness of their spiritual self, their spiritual things, as we talked about earlier, opening up to that spiritual aspects of who we really are. I've heard that. Now, you're always going to have people that are sleeping. So, I mean, there can be a populace that their consciousness is very open and they're very aware. And then there are those that are still sleepwalking. And that's what's happening right now. They're sleepwalking. They're just closed-minded. They're not sure. They're living in fear. So there's a split right there. It's
That's
happening
what I
now.
talked about last night. Exactly.
So there you go. So this, you and I, it's all about validation between us, I
I'll
swear.
take it. High fives. All right, going back to that word compassion, and then we'll shift more for energy for others. Where were you going with that question? If I cut you off, you said when you write the word compassion. If I give you the word compassion, where do you go with it? So I'm curious where you were going with that question.
Oh, it's just a free thought question in that if the way I was really more interested in how your sense of writing, how it works. So is it a free writing, free thoughts, just coming into you? Like if you get the word in the middle of a page, compassion, what would you do with that? Would you write about compassion? Would you write sentences? Would you take a little pen and draw out, say, one word about compassion? I just was curious, how would you
The words
approach
will just
that?
start flowing right after it. They're
Okay.
words that just
Okay.
start coming to me without thought.
So have you done that yet in a book? Have you thought about that where you put one word, like chapter one, compassion, and then you write 5, 6 pages, you bring through, channel through, 5, 6, 7 pages. Then chapter two is forgiveness. And then you hold it. Have you done that before?
No, that'd be kind of fun.
Well, can you do
I
that
could
for
definitely
me?
do that.
I'm waiting for that book, Michael. So get on it. That's your soul pact.
All right, I'm
I
on
think
it.
I think that'd be very good for you to do that because your energy is so high, and that would be a way of grounding it. And you're teaching while you're doing that, you're channeling. I mean, that's so perfect for you. And I think it'll be such a great book that'll help so many people because you're very pure. You're so pure, and when you can do it that way and not think about rules, it'll come through really nicely. So, anyway, I'm here for helping you if you need it.
I'm signing you up right
Okay.
now, James. Be my muse, be my anything. Help me to get through to the other side because
Oh, by the way, Michael, not to jump into this, but I have to remind because I have to remember these things. My school online, the JVP School of Mystical Arts,
yes,
um,
link.
I'm doing a writer's course this fall,
Yes.
so that's going to be part of.
Course.
Yeah, so, but anyway, anyone watching it, you should check out the school because it's a great community of people. There are 40 different types of courses that I have, everything from healing, from 28-day transformation to this writing course that's going to premiere in the fall. So, healing course, all different types of stuff, and I do student calls and all that. So I just want to mention that because a lot of people might need that or want that.
What's the link? What's the link? Where do
W-
people go?
yes, www dot
Yeah,
the JVP School of Mystical Arts.com. The JVP School of Mystical Arts.com.
I will have that down so that people can have it nice and easy. And I'll make that link down below where people can just click on it.
Because it's
Super.
helping a lot of people. And through your shows in the past, we've had a lot of people come from your show. So thank you very much because it helps a lot. And things like, wow, how interesting spirit works because, I'm on Michael's program and then found you and this leads to that and that leads to that. I said, well, that's how we kind of work. We're just leading to each other's.
And I think this is important for the discussion for today. And going back to that
Same
word
frequency
compassion.
and you did a chapter on frequency, the word
Yes.
frequency. Yeah, there you go.
Without thought, we don't try to figure out, okay, I saw James Van Praagh. Now the next step for me is, now the next step for me is, now the next step. Allow this game, particularly now more than ever, to unfold self-discovery without a plan. It doesn't mean that you don't want what you want, but allow it to unfold.
You're so funny. You're just so funny. I use the same exact analogy, but I use it in different words. So my word is surrender. So when you surrender, you're allowing. And every day with my students, there's always an answer to a question, which always ends up get off the head and go to the heart, from head to heart. Go from your heart. Let your heart lead you, not your head, your heart. Now, we know being Virgos that we think a lot, but we also know how we can shut that down and we know to get to that heart space. Some do it easier than others, but it's that heart space that we're talking about and surrendering, allowing, letting yourself just be in your soul self. The whole soul is tucked neatly behind the heart, not in the head.
I was in the hyperbaric chamber earlier today. And speaking of the head, it's this high pressure, fill you with oxygen to help reduce the inflammation in the brain in this case. And I was doing that this morning. You've got the RV, I surrender. You've got the car, I surrender. You don't know where you're going. And I was just listing off things and doing this exercise. But what's interesting to me is lately I've been using a term that I didn't use before, and I'm putting it with, to me, a positive spin, though it drives my wife absolutely mad, which is I give up. I give up does not mean that I'm going to go hide under a desk and call it quits. It means you take this.
Oh, I have a better one for you. I have a better one for you and everyone here to use, and I use it every day. But now I'm using it 30, 40 times a day. It is what it is, and that's all that it is.
Amen. And I have used it is what it is. Absolutely.
And that's all. And you have to finish it, and that's
And it's
all.
all that it is.
I don't make more of it than it is. It just is what it is. That's all that it is. I say it 30 times a day now, because the craziness which is going around, which it's again, when we first connected before the show was aired, we said to each other, I said to you, this is an energy which I'm not familiar with. I feel very foreign with the energy we're in right now. But you see some strange stuff out there in the streets, let me tell you. But it is what it is. That's what it is. Do I understand it fully? No. But again, maybe it's the kicking up the dirt, which I kind of like that analogy, kicking up the dirt, particles of energy. But you see some weird stuff, and the one which is very common now, which I think is really a trip, because I'm totally in observation mode. When I get in my car, I'm totally in observation mode because you have to be now. And
particularly when the mono digital responses are flying at us. Not that that ever happens.
exactly. Yeah. And then people are checking their phones and they're on their emails.
So I was writing about this, and I think I talked about it last week. I have never seen so many distracted drivers that are all over that. And Jessica's like, maybe that's the mass exodus. And that's a scary thought, but nobody is home behind the wheel.
True. It's so true. So they have these cars in LA, Automos cars, and they're driveless cars going down the Santa Monica Boulevard and all over the place. And they're like, wow, I think we're gonna have more of that. I think it's probably a good thing to save lives because these distracted drivers, not good. So I think it's more of that's going to happen. More of these autonomous cars.
I'm very excited for that for my parents who just moved into unassisted living. Neither one can drive anymore. And it's a 10-hour drive for me to go down and back to my parents if they need to go somewhere. It's a 2-hour drive. So my poor sister, who had made the music for the show, is driving down and driving back and driving down and driving back because they can't Uber. And to be able to have that autonomous and I look forward to that in that sense, very much so.
Much more of that's going to happen now.
But as a fun aside, we had a Tesla till a few weeks ago. We discussed how that it gave up its life force. Yes. I rarely used it on autopilot because we didn't really trust it. And it had this thing where occasionally, particularly on Jessica, would slam on the brakes. It's a known thing. You can actually look it up. I'm not picking on Tesla, but it would just hit the brakes and it would freak her out. But when we moved to California briefly, guess what, for 8 months near Joshua Tree, 4 years ago, early COVID, the autopilot, I don't know how to put this, so we'll bleep this out. It became, in California, a raging that would dive from the left lane off the highway because it would learn from everybody else in California.
Oh, wow. That's wild. That's wild. Wow.
It totally changed its personality to match the drivers around it.
It's so crazy. That's really crazy. We had more of that craziness happening. I'm telling you, it's part of the world we're living right now.
So before we start to wrap things up, going to craziness, what's the most positive, surprising change that you've seen recently or that is emerging at this time?
I'm gonna go. I have to repeat myself. Sorry, I got to repeat myself.
It's okay. It's okay.
I can't make shit
it's
up.
Okay.
That sense of that more people are becoming conscious. There are more people realizing that, wow, I'm a spiritual being. I'm that's who I really am, and that these conditions in this human world are kind of forcing them to question what's beyond this. There's got to be another world beyond this. There's got to be another space. That's really exciting. That's really exciting. And I know from inside out, from my inner workings with all these different fields that I'm involved in with Hollywood and all the rest of it in book worlds, that there is this younger generation, as much as we talk negative things, some really positive things, that they are open to this new consciousness, and that's exciting. That more and more people, more than ever before, I believe, have been open to these possibilities that what lies beyond the human, and that to me is exciting.
Woohoo! I see it in Hunter Bear. I see it in other youth. I think conversely, I'm like, do I go there? That's why I'm eating my hand. more youth have been checking
I thought it was
out.
just a condition. Yeah, go on.
More youth have been checking out because they are more awakened and enlightened and aware and don't know what the hell to do with it.
Yes. Well, that's interesting because I thought of my school. I wanted to create a program. I was talking to my people yesterday about my team about this. I want to create a program for 15 to 20-year-olds. And that is really about taking them off the devices and really teach them about morality, integrity, honesty, humility, really all those things that we kind of grew up with that has been lost now. And getting off the devices and start connecting with people from the heart to heart. And I'd like to do that because I think that's missing. And that's what's missing. I think we still need that. I really, really do, especially in the human world. We need a heart to heart. We gotta be empathetic for people. I every single day, Michael, wherever I go interacting with humans, I put a smile on their face. Not that I force it, but it doesn't cost less. Like, hi, Tracy, how are you doing today? You do the same thing, and it's bringing that light to them, and it really changes. It not only changes them, but everyone they get in contact with them will change. So I think that's what we can do to keep things in a positive way. Everybody can do that. I think
Where we live in Florida, I forgot about this. And I'm not saying this to anybody so
you
that
live in Florida. I thought you lived in Vermont. Wait a minute. Oh, boy, you're a
we have
traveler.
moved 9, 10, 10 times so far since Hannah Bear's been born. That's 3.25 years. But we have,
What are you chasing?
what am I chasing? If you have an answer of where we're supposed to go, we are waiting for that to unfold. We have, however, made a commitment that by this spring, we are putting down anchors somewhere. We have gone the last 3 years back to Florida, to south of Jacksonville, north of Daytona Beach. And we're going for one more year. It doesn't feel like a permanent home, does not feel like a perfect fit. It is a cocoon for us for this winter. We know that for sure. Nothing's for sure.
Is that East Coast or West Coast or middle?
East Coast.
East.
Palm Coast, it's actually called.
Oh, Palm Coast. Okay, I know where that is. Okay.
And
Good for you.
there's a bridge you go over to get to Palm Coast, and that bridge I love, and this isn't me being special, so I'm trying to caveat that. I love paying for the person behind me. Every time you go, it's a toll to go
Oh,
over
that's
the
great. That's
just fun. And a couple times I'm really embarrassed if somebody actually waves and say thank you, because that's not what it's about. But it's an energy shift.
You bet. You bet. It's a kindness. It's a random act of kindness, which is what we need more of.
Yeah. And I think more and more of that is coming about. And I think people are more and more for challenge and opportunity. We're more sensitive to that now. We're more sensitive to the sneezes of other. We sneeze more if somebody sneezes. We feel more if somebody else cries. We can also lift somebody else up more if we do the inner work to bring ourselves up.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Tune into our heart, our soul's space, our soul space.
If you could beam one sentence to humanity, Care Bear Stare, beam one sentence to humanity for the remainder of 2025, what would it be?
Love yourself and everybody you encounter.
Woohoo!
Came in
All right.
easy.
Love yourself and everyone else you encounter. How could the world not be a better place if we simply did that?
I think it would be a better place if we did that. I do think so. I think it'd be a better place. I think it would just have a rippling effect throughout. And I think that, in some strange way, I think that the energy of love or that vibration, that frequency, when you give out that energy, it lightens up other people's spaces. And I just think it continues on. We're all connected. We're all one. Two of the greatest illusions is separativeness, and there is no separativeness. We actually are connected to each other. And I've seen it. I've experienced a near-death experience. I know all about what that is like, that we're really one energy. And if you can enlighten one person, you're enlightening many people. So try to bring those light and illuminate that space that we're all. When I had my near-death experience, it was very interesting because I saw everything like a tapestry. And like I was ill. I was ill. I had a tear, Mallory. It's called Mallory Weiss tear. It was esophageal tear in my throat there, and I blacked out. And in the bathroom, my house, and I had hit the counter, and I was knocked out, and came right on my body, and I was like, whoa! And there was no time or space. And like, okay, this isn't, I don't remember this supposed to happen. What's going on? And I saw my cousin Patricia, who had completed suicide about 30 years before. And I was really close to her. And she hadn't come through to me ever. This is the first time. And she said, "You're going to be fine. You'll be right." I said, she goes, "You'll be just fine. I'm going to be here. Can you help me? I'm in a little bit of a problem here." She goes, "You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Don't worry. Yeah, we love you." And she disappeared. I saw a tapestry above myself, an awareness that I had. No, I was outside of time and space, and at this tapestry, all these little, I guess, cubes you could say of lives of things that are happening. And I knew it was like all these different people that I was involved with, like aware of in my space here, and that we're all connected. And what we think will create that to happen and give that person that space something to do or have love or and we can make these things happen. And then I was aware of that, and then I went right to a garden, and my father, who had passed, was there, and he handed me a rose, and he was 27 years old, brown suit, and he said, "James, it's not your time." He gave me this rose. Next thing I know, I'm on the bathroom floor. My head is really hurting. I opened my eyes, and my friend Brian was there, and he said, "James, wake up, wake up." And I said, dying is easy, living is hard." That's what I said. And that awareness of oneness is so strong, and that this is just a game down here. Life is a game. We just got to learn how to play it. And that's really what it is, is how to play the game.
So the last two questions is, speaking of playing the game, what are you doing differently now? Or what are you playing with? What are you experimenting with? What are you geeking out with right now?
Geeking out. Wow. Besides teaching, I teach, I have the passion, but I bring my teaching in every moment of my life. So whether I'm driving the car, I'm in total observation mode, and I'm stepping back, and I see situations happen among people in the stores or family members or things and I step completely back and I watch them play the game, watch their game, and see what's going on there. I don't judge it. The past 2 years, I've been getting out of judgment. It's been such a freedom that you don't judge another person. You're just freely opening to the observation of how that person handles something, where they're at, and it really is, especially being Virgos, we can be very critical. When you step out of that and just observe, it gets stronger and stronger of that sense of connectedness, oneness, love for another person. So that's been my geeking out. I've been geeking out about that, just observing and non-judgment. And that's been really cool. I've enjoyed that. And I'm geeking out about my TV show I'm working on, and I'm geeking out about my autobiography that I'm writing.
Very cool. So I had one last question, but I'm going to throw in one tiny little thing. What you doing for your birthday?
Our birthdays are
I don't know what I'm doing for mine. I'm asking you the question, and I'm going, oh,
It's really bad. It's so bad. This shows everybody how out there, and I'm so excited and everything. I'll probably do a Facebook Live.
I get it.
I'll do a Facebook Live.
Oh, that's a celebration. I like it.
It's community, doing the school. It's been such a community,
Yeah.
and I just want to, just be with people on Facebook Live from all over the world, and that's my love. So I'll probably do that, and be
Awesome.
with my dog. Yeah.
I'm going to check my calendar.
What do you do for your birthday?
What's that? I don't know. That I'm in full admission that until that question came up for you, James, what is the pot calling the kettle black? I have no idea. None, zero, zippo.
Are you going to be traveling, or are you going to be where you are?
Well, there's these trips back and forth to my parents. That is on a
Tuesday.
Oh gosh.
You're going to be traveling. I don't see you where you are.
It's the day of the week that I am most challenged with, because I feel everybody's energy so much. And yeah, it's a Monday. Yesterday on Monday, I'm going, I don't know why I'm feeling this. I never say it, but I did. I'm like, I have a case of the Mondays. This ain't all mine.
Well, so you're very fortunate, Michael, because at least you know what day of the week it is. With me, it's like, what day is it? What day is it? No. It's kind of crazy, but just got to go through it. Just got to float through it.
So I am scheduled for a YouTube live event already on my birthday. It says right here in the calendar for 8 p.m. on my birthday, which I guess everybody is August 25th, which I guess this will air just after that. But I'm apparently doing a live event from where I have no idea.
Well, there we go.
All right, last question. What last words of hope, of joy, of wonderment, of something to bring, we've already brought people up here, James, today, but to launch them into the heavens, do you have for people?
See how much stronger how much more you can love yourself and forgive yourself. Woohoo! Yeah. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you so much, James. So for everyone out there, this is Michael Sandler saying, be well, have fun. I feel like singing this, love yourself even more with a kiss. I don't know, but keep on shining bright. Woohoo! Shine bright. Woohoo! Oh, wow, 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 wow. I say wow a lot, but with James, wow, 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 or woohoo! Another soul brother from another mother. Oh my God. Falling in love. We get to fall in love with ourselves at a higher level. And that's really what we're talking all about and what this energy is all about. Even if on the surface, it seems like, well, it is one heck of a roller coaster ride. On the note, on the higher energy, not on the roller coaster ride. If you want to bring your energy up each and every day, I can give you a daily transmission of energy. It's free. It doesn't cost bupkis, zero, anything. dailywoohoo.com. Short story, daily attunement, energy transmission, much, much more. dailywoohoo.com, totally and completely free. If you want to take your energy to a higher level, to a higher plane, become a mystic. You were always meant to be a mystic. Join the School of Mystics. 4 Wednesdays, live or recorded each and every month. We have attunements, transmissions, teachings, group intention meditations, clearings, and much, much more. Q&A with me live. We got the link down below. Love to see you there. It will change your energy. That's that link for our School of Mystics down below. Here's a link to the next amazing show. Love you so, so much. Keep on shining bright. Woohoo! How does it get any better than this? Automatic writing. Didn't even tell you about it. Link below. Lots and lots of love, everyone. I love you. I love you. I love you.